What's going on, everybody? I have an anime review for you guys today. Before that, I want to talk about a few things. So, if you don't want to listen to me rambling, I'm going to put a timestamp in the video description. So you can just click that and it'll just fast forward you directly to the anime review. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the footage that's going to be on the screen. This is some gameplay I recorded from the game Path of Exile. It's a free-to-play action RPG. It's a lot like Diablo. The character that I'm playing here is a level 85 Scion in the new Essence Standard League. The build that I've gone with is based on Blade Vortex, Avatar Fire, Elemental Overload, and Mind Over Matter. And for my Ascendancy classes, I've gone for the Elementalist and Inquisitor. I'm just going to be grinding some low tier maps for currency. It's sort of like the Rift system in Diablo. I do plan on making a build guide for this character towards the end of the season. It is a self-found character and I played most of it by myself. So it's not like any new meta or anything like that. Like, it's not like a build from some pro player. It's just something that I came up with that I thought was kind of fun. I'll post a build guide toward the end of the season. There's like maybe a month and a half or something left. The other thing that I wanted to talk about before I do the review for my anime is that I actually already made a review for this anime, and I wasn't too happy with the outcome of the video. After I edited the footage and I rendered it and I watched it back, I wasn't happy with it, so I just deleted it and figured, you know what, I just start over. So the reason for this is because a lot of the time when I record an anime review, I'm playing games with my friends, and I find, for me personally, it's kind of difficult to multitask, right? Like, I'm trying to concentrate on the game, I'm trying to think and collect my thoughts for the anime review, and even though I've written down notes, it's difficult for me to balance doing well in the game, looking over the notes, thinking of my thoughts. Plus, there's always like interruptions or what have you. So I figured, you know what, this time I'll just record some footage. I'll just do some post-production commentary. I'll just put them together and put it out there like that. It's actually a lot easier to just do things separately, even though it's more work in the end. In addition to that, part of the problem is that when I'm trying to review anime and other people are talking or there are interruptions, I have to, in the edit, cut some of that out, and because of that, the whole experience of rewatching the video becomes kind of inconsistent and choppy. So, now that we have that out of the way, let's get to the review. So this week I'm going to review Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. I did review the original movie a while back. I don't know what happened to the video actually. It's probably somewhere in like a Borderlands playlist or some other video game that my friends and I were playing at the time. But I'll just go briefly over what Vampire Hunter D is in general. These movies are about a vampire-human hybrid named D, and he's kind of devoted himself to hunting down vampires and killing them, as the title would imply. You could also consider him a bounty hunter as well, because some of the time he's not just hunting them down for his own personal vendettas. He's doing it because some humans have hired him to do so because of vampire and whatever places terrorizing them or what have you. I do believe that I did say that I highly recommend the first movie on the basis that you could get over the sort of dated visuals. It is from 1985, so it's not going to be your Attack on Titan or something like that from, current generation anime. It's going to look very old, obviously. But if you could get over that, I highly recommend the first movie. So, the second movie is basically about a young lady named Charlotte who gets kidnapped from her village by a vampire named Meyer Link. Now, her father and her brother decide that they're going to hire some bounty hunters to try to track down Charlotte, recover her, bring her back. One of the bounty hunters happened to be D. And in addition to that, they also hire a group of bounty hunters referred to as the Marcus Brothers. So what ends up happening is D and the Marcus Brothers are sort of in this race to get to Charlotte, recover her, and bring her back. And whoever accomplishes that, they get the large sum of money that Charlotte's brother and father has promised them. That's about all that I'm going to talk about in terms of the plot. I don't want to spoil it too much. I love the character design of D. D is sort of this tall, lean, long-haired, dressed in all black. He has special powers. He's a swordsman, and in a way, you could sort of say that he's a stereotypical protagonist. You know, there are a lot of anime characters kind of designed off of that. These mysterious kind of anti-hero sort of characters. But honestly, I don't care about that. I mean, if it's not broken, don't fix it. There's nothing wrong with D's design, like his character design. Another thing that I like about D is that even though he's been shunned by humanity because of the fact that he's a vampire and they're scared of vampires, he hasn't really given up on them. I mean, at a glance, it does seem as if he's kind of just there to accomplish his goal, kill a vampire or whatever, and leave. But there's like a little glimmer there that suggests that he really does care about people, and he even though they've kind of exiled him, that he still does care about them because, I mean, he is half human himself, right? So he's not going to turn his back on his own people. Some of my friends compared him to Blade, human vampire from the Hollywood movie series. He's played as Wesley Snipes, and in a lot of ways he is like Blade. He does dress in black, he uses a sword, he's half human, half vampire, he kills other vampires. In general, I just really like D's character. I also really like the Marcus brothers and the role that they play in the movie, because the Marcus brothers as a whole, they're 5 bounty hunters, 4 guys and a young lady, if I'm recalling this correctly. And they're all like sort of masters of their own trade. You know, you have one guy that uses arrows, another guy that uses blades, another guy that uses, I think, like a sledgehammer. They're all pretty top-notch bounty hunters. They're not like your typical run-of-the-mill, you know, kind of scrub. I like their character designs. I also like the fact that they sort of give a standard to compare D to. I feel that if D was the only character going for Charlotte throughout this movie, it would have kind of been worse because you have nothing to compare his power level, if you will, to. So even though you see these bounty hunters that are really well skilled and stuff, you have D that's like another step ahead of them, and I really like that dynamic about the anime. The final thing that I really enjoyed about this anime was the Barbaroi. The Barbaroi is sort of a hub of creatures, demons, monsters, whatever you want to call them, and it seems that kind of over time they've interbred and created new types of creatures. And I just love this idea about this group of creatures that they're almost like D in that they're sort of hybrids. They've sort of been shunned away by humanity. I wouldn't mind seeing just an entire movie about the Barbaroi, because I think there could be some really interesting things there. You have some really cool powers that some of them have, and it just seems like there could be a lot of lore behind that whole place. So needless to say, I love this anime. I give this anime a highly recommend. Now, there is a preface to this that it is from the year 2000, the second movie, and being that old, the visuals are still slightly outdated as well. Not as bad as the first movie. I do know that there are some people out there, though, that just will not watch something from this time period just because it doesn't look like, you know, a modern day anime that's been designed and animated on a computer. So I highly recommend. I think that it's a classic anime, but I do understand if it's not really your thing because of how old the visuals are. I would still say give it a try, though. That's it for Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. I hope you guys enjoy it if you do end up watching it. Thanks for watching. Leave me some feedback. Give me a like if you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed the review. There's a link to my Twitter in the description, as well as a link to my Google spreadsheet for a massive list of anime. Feel free to look over that. Feel free to ask me about anything on that spreadsheet via Twitter or YouTube. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys have when I have time, or when I'm at home. I am working on a few other things. I'm always working on other things. Whenever I complete them, I'll upload some reviews. So, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time.